acting a little crazy, but you know, she's
All
doing
in all,
pretty good. We
everything
went and
is
saw a
good.
movie today.
Okay. Okay. Hold on one minute.
Baking, yes.
Do you know breaking for exams? Is this somebody you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this somebody in your family?
No, she's not in my family. We're just, she's cool. She comes through my
Okay,
life, shows
okay,
love.
okay. Okay, breaking
Mhm.
for exams. I'm going to go ahead before we start the interview because you seem to have made a couple of comments. So we're going to go ahead and answer them for you. Okay? Thank you, Shy Baby. Thank you, Love
Ooh,
Bug.
period. Thank you.
Right, absolutely. This is going to be a good interview. Please, 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 everybody share the live. Breaking for exams. Did you have any questions, concerns, or complaints at this current moment? You said, what's going on here? I'll explain that to you in a minute, Mermaid.
Y'all funny.
Thank you, everybody. Lost in the sauce. Okay, what's the problem? Let's clear it up for you. I want to make sure everybody has a clear and concise understanding. And we're interviewing Angel. That's what. Is she currently single? Deep state. Hold on a minute. Oh, it was something that me and her agreed on. Oh, okay. So you don't know what's going on. Okay, just hold tight. You'll figure it out.
Mhm.
We're gonna explain all that. Yeah. So as everybody knows, on Big O, we do interview people. Different hosts interview people for different reasons. It could just be for whatever. But on Big O, when we find an interesting story, those of us who do interviews, we like to go ahead and delve deep into it and get a clear understanding, especially when it comes to the spiritual community, because as we all know, this has been something that everybody has been interested in for quite some time. Okay. If you don't know me, I will explain to you who I am. I am Miss Cherry. I do cult interviews. I do cult awareness. I also do a plethora of content. Okay. And like last night, we were going over the discovery for Nature Boy, in his case, and talking about that and so forth and so on. Okay. So without further ado, me and Angel have had some conversations on the back end because I wanted to make sure she was comfortable with the questions that I was going to be asking her. Okay. What I want to do right now is I want to mute my background. Give me 1 minute. We're going to mute this music. Okay. There we go. We're going to mute the music. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay. So this is Angel. Angel, can you explain to everybody what wife are you or were you? Sorry. What wife were you?
Right, right. Heavy on the word. So I'm wife number three. I'm wife number three. Well, was wife number three.
Of
Um,
who? Oh, I got to get rid of these baby hairs.
Visa. My bad. Visa. I seen some
Visa?
people saying I'm the one from
Okay.
New York. No, that was the first wife. I'm from Ohio. I came kind of like right before he got into his little situation, so that might cause some confusion for people. But my name is Angel.
So now you guys know who she is. And she's
Mm-hmm.
also a new host. And so, how did you meet Visa? Visa is a huge. He's been on the app for some times, and he's a huge host here on the app. I remember when he first started off. So, how did you meet Visa?
So actually I used to be on the app like hosting. I wasn't actually a host, but I would get on panels and sort of, just debate, discuss the Bible, various religions, stuff like that. So I was hosting a little debate panel and he just kind of popped up one day and started debating some of the people that were already on the panel. Um and it kind of just spiraled from there. He came through my live a few more times. I came into his, and yep, so that's how I ran into him.
Okay, and once you met him, how did
Mhm.
that go from there?
Um, okay, so like for starters, I didn't really know who he was. Like
Mm.
I had heard of him, of course, but I had no clue like any of the details of his life. Thank you so much, whoever that. Who's that?
Thank you for the gifts, you
I
guys.
want to
Thank
say shy baby, shy baby. Thank you. Um, but yeah, like when he came into my life, he literally was just talking about Islam and the Quran. So me personally, I didn't have anybody around me at the time who was Muslim. Everybody was either Christian, Israelite, atheist, something like that. So from that moment forward, I just came to his lives asking him questions about Islam and trying to get a better understanding. So for a few good weeks, that was pretty much the only topic of discussion that we had was, more about the Prophet, peace be upon him, more about Islam, learning, just just really digging into the knowledge that he had to offer. That's pretty much what our relationship was at that point.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Hmm.
And so how long did those discussions last between the two of you before he approached you, in a intimate way?
Um, dang, dang, how long? I say about a month, maybe about 3 to 4 weeks. We were talking. Yeah, a few good weeks went by before he kind of just came to me and was like, "Hey, I told my wife about you." And I'm like, "Okay." Mind you, again, I'm still learning Islam, so um I wasn't even fully aware about the whole like men being able to have four wives things.
Wow.
Um yeah, like I still was learning those details. So when he was like, "Oh yeah, I talked to my wife about you." I'm like, "Okay, for what?" Like for what? And so yeah, he let me know that he was interested in courting me or taking me on as a third wife. Well, at the time it would have been a second wife because he wasn't back with Yusuke yet. Um yeah, so that was about, I'd say, a good 3 to 4 weeks into talking to him.
Oh wow. So he didn't waste no time.
No, no, he got straight to it.
Wow. So how what
Mhm.
was that like? What was the courting like?
Um, I'm not gonna lie to you, like it kind of consisted of the same. Like it really wasn't what's the word that I'm looking for? So within Islam, there is still certain boundaries that you have to subscribe to. So even though we were intended, we weren't actually married. So there were certain conversations that we couldn't have, certain lines that we couldn't cross. So still dominantly the topic of discussion was Islam and learning more about um, what it meant to actually be a wife, what to expect out of the relationship. He was teaching me how to pray at one point. Um, that was something that was very important to him. Before we were able to go ahead and initiate the marriage, I had to get my prayer down, all that good stuff. Don't get me wrong, that's something that I wanted to do for myself, anyways. But
Hmm.
um, that was that was the focus of the relationship. That's what I would say. Um, yeah, it was like again, I have no clue who he is. So like I have no clue the backstory of his shenanigans here on Bigo. Um, so pretty much the only topic of discussion that we are having is Islam. Um, up until yeah.
Up until when?
Um, I would say like right before I was about to go out there, right before I was about to actually make the move out there, is kind of when I started to, because it started to become more obvious that we were talking, and people started sending me videos and asking me questions and all this extraness. This is where I kind of found out about the huge escapade that him and Yusuke had gotten into. And
Oh.
so at this point, I started asking questions. Like, what's this? Why am I hearing this about you? What you got to do with this? Whoop, whoop, whoop. We actually ended up getting into like a big ass argument, and I almost didn't go because of that. Yeah,
Wow.
this was definitely before he went to jail.
Okay. Can you do me a favor and swipe the comments?
Oh yeah, so I
Okay.
was trying to do that earlier when you said it, but it's like it's not going nowhere. When I swipe over, they like
Oh, it's still leaving you a comment. Okay. Try not
yeah.
to pay attention to the comments as much as possible because I want you to focus on the interview.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna cam back up now. I just had to take care of something really quick. Okay. So yes, you guys, this was before
Ooh.
he went to jail this last time. You didn't know him before he went to jail?
Mm-mm.
Am I correct
No.
on saying that?
Wait. You said I didn't know him before he went to jail?
Right. Did you know him before he went to jail this last time?
Yeah. That's when I went out there. That's what I'm saying. He went to jail literally like 3 weeks into us being together. Like into me actually physically being there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I
So you
was
really
in the
didn't get
house
to
when
spend a
he
lot
went
of
to jail. Hmm?
okay. So you didn't get to spend a lot of time with him.
No. Mm-mm. Not at all.
How
Hmm.
long were you guys in a full blown relationship?
As far as me physically being there,
Mm-hmm.
I was literally only there for about 3 weeks before all that shit happened. With him getting locked up.
Okay. So let's retro back. Let's get a little history on you. Guys, we're going to understand her, you need to understand her lifestyle and you know, because I know a lot of you are wondering why would she make the decision of being with Visa. We're gonna get a little bit of thank you, baby. We're gonna get a little bit backstory on her. Can you please let's go back a little bit before your first child? Were you always spiritual, or how did your spiritual journey begin?
Um, so I would say like my first introduction to the conscious community period was when I was about 14, 15 years old. In high school. Prior to that point, I was raised in a Christian household. Um, and so what was the first understanding that I came into? Basically, just at first, I kind of just rejected religion, and I was pretty much very focused on how uh, our people are manipulated in society, specifically Black people.
Hmm.
How the government uses things such as religion to manipulate our minds or to indoctrinate us, right? And
Right?
that's something that I still believe, even being a Muslim. That's something that I still fully stand by. That
Right.
religion can definitely be used as a weapon or a tool to manipulate people when it's in the wrong
Correct.
hands. Um,
Yes.
so coming into that understanding and to that sort of lifestyle is what led me down the road of finding people like Nature Boy. Um, I kind of was telling you a bit about that the other
We're gonna
day.
get into
Hmm. Yeah, but I definitely feel like being that's definitely a vulnerable position to be in. Like when you're a teenager and you're realizing that everything that your parents have taught you is bullshit. Everything that you've grown up believing is, a lie or a conspiracy. It kind of leaves you in a position of wondering, like, what's next? What do I believe in now? What is real? And so that's kind of the space that I was at for pretty much majority of my life, majority of my cognitive life, anyways.
you started off really, really, really young.
Hmm.
Started off really young. Okay. So at that point, you started your spiritual journey. And then, so were you into a religion at that time, or were you only spiritual? Meaning that,
No.
were you,
Mhm.
okay. So you, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I didn't have any religion. I guess the closest thing that you could say is that I never really let go of the scripture. So as I delved deeper into my spiritual journey, I began to have like an alternative perspective of the Bible. Specifically that it was kind of a metaphor that was meant to represent certain understandings that our ancestors had, as opposed to be taken absolutely literal, right? So Eve didn't actually talk to a literal snake. This is supposed to be representing something, right? Um,
Mm,
but other than that, I didn't subscribe to any religion.
okay. So you go through high school, okay, and then once we hit our pre-adult life, which is 19, 20, 21,
Hmm.
were you still interested in the teachings that you were learning at that present moment, or was that evolving for you?
It's crazy that you asked that because that's really around the time that I found Nature Boy. Like around age like 17. I believe I was about 17 when I first ever heard of Nature Boy. Um, and at this point, again, I didn't know a lot about his bullshit. I just seen like the entire concept of carbonation. I think it might have still been melanation at the time. Um,
Okay.
and I definitely fell in love with that idea. But as I started to find out more about who Nature Boy was, I'm like, that's not really for me. Like, I'm not trying to go over there and join that, but I do like where he's going as far as trying to link up with other black people, build our own little community, create a self-sustaining environment. So that's kind of where I was at like 18 years old. I was trying to find other people who wanted to create a tribe and
Okay.
go to Mexico. Mexico is where we wanted to go at the time.
Okay. So, question: at that point, okay, you come into this new revelation of, oh my God, there's actually African American people that are conscious and that live this way.
Hmm.
Now, while you said you found Nature Boy, right?
Hmm.
So, had you ever had a conversation with him anytime? Well, at that point, had you ever had a conversation with him about maybe joining
So
Carbon?
no. Mm-mm. So the first time I ever talked to Nature Boy, it was through my child's father. Because remember I told you that he originally wanted to join carbonation.
Correct.
Um, and so he had been having conversations with him prior to ever meeting me or the other wives at the time. And so there was a point in time where we had like an Instagram video call with Nature Boy and was talking to him a bit about carbonation. But at that point, the intentions weren't to go there. We were kind of trying to like copy him and create our own tribe.
Right. Okay.
Hmm.
So you said that you guys had a conversation with Nature Boy, but your baby's father, had he had
Hmm.
more than just that conversation with Nature Boy?
Yeah. So to my understanding, again, I wasn't here for this part, but he claims that he wanted to go to carbonation. But when he approached Nature Boy about the idea, Nature Boy told him that it's probably best if he just start his own shit. Because my child's father, like what's the word for it? He's like Nature Boy himself. Like he's very controlling, he's very manipulative, he's very like he's not the type of dude that's gonna be over there rubbing another nigga's feet or
Right.
subscribing to his ideology. So it kind of was best for him to create his own branch because that would just cause friction essentially. So that's what
Wow.
he told me his conversation with Nature Boy was about. But he still had a lot of love and respect for Nature Boy to the point where every time if Nature Boy changed his diet, we got to change our diet. If Nature Boy changed his rules, we got to change our rules. Like it was yeah.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
Wow. So who if can I ask who your baby's father is? Is that okay to ask that?
Sure. I don't think you would know who he is. I'm not gonna lie to you. He goes by like 50,000 different names. I think right now he's calling himself inevitably God.
What name did he
Um,
go by at that time? Thank you.
who was he? Who was he at the time? Oh, this is when not carbonation. Nature Boy was making everybody put immortal on their name. Like everybody that was a supporter of carbonation. So his name was like Immortal. What was his name? His name was like Immortal Omnipotent or something like that. Immortal God. It
Nature
was it
Boy's
was something
name
like that. Hmm.
what was his name again?
Um, so I know he had the immortal prefix that all the carbonation followers had, but I can't remember what the second part was at the time. It was like immortal God, immortal omnipotent, something like that.
Wow.
Like I said, he changes his name constantly. He's gone through like 50 names since I met him.
So I do. Omni sounds very familiar. Okay, so can you
Mhm.
name some of the names that your child father called himself? Can so maybe we can, the viewers and I can maybe say, "Oh yeah, that we can,
Okay. Okay. So on here, I know he went by Bible Cuts. Like that's the most. Before he was inevitably God, he was Bible Cuts. Before that, I believe he was like what was his name on here? Hmm. His real name is Master. Believe it or not, his mom actually named him that, and I feel like that's
wow."
why he's so crazy. But like names have power. Be careful what y'all name your kids. But yeah, so his actual name is Master. Sometimes he puts that on there. Um, yeah, I think Bible Cuts is the name that he had most dominantly on this app. Um,
Okay, so he was
yeah.
on this big old app and he was going by Bible Cuts. Okay.
Mhm.
And at that time was he still following Nature Boy?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Does he
He's
still
like
follow
since
Nature
I've met
Boy?
him. Well, I haven't talked to him in over a year. So I don't know what he's been up to in the past year, but the last time I talked to him, he was still very much a Nature Boy follower. He's still trying to
Wow.
create his own tribe. He never let go of that concept. Um, and yeah, so he's still, as far as I know, he's still very much a Nature Boy supporter.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you were interested in men who had that type of spirituality and basically that type of energy.
Hmm.
So your baby's dad, who was a Nature Boy follower,
Hmm.
okay, and then at that point, you and him ended up creating a beautiful life. You guys created a child together, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how was that work? How was that situation? But how was the relationship between you and him?
Between me and my child's father.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at the, are you saying right now or at the point of
No, no,
conception?
no. Then we're building up because we're gonna come to the present moment. So go ahead.
Um, our relationship, the best way, how can I condense this down? So in total, we were together for 2 years, on and off. Um, because the first attempt that we had at kind of going to nature, pretty much ended in him like becoming physically abusive towards me. Mind you,
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I didn't know, like, how do I put this? So I knew he was a Nature Boy supporter. Um, but again at this time, like I really didn't fully understand. Like I'm 19 years old, 18, 19 years old. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really realizing the danger in that or the severity in that. So when he came to me saying that he wanted to start his own tribe, he wanted to create a self-sustaining society for our people, blah blah blah. This is what I'm completely wrapped up in. Like I'm not really paying attention to the red flags. So I ended up literally all the way in Florida with him. Like I said, I'm from Ohio. So I'm like
Wow.
17 hours away from home at this point. Um, and I'm living in a tent with this dude, trying to trying to figure out how to, because we're preparing to go to Mexico. So I'm trying to figure out how to live in a tent, how to care for ourselves when we're not in society. And that literally ended in him putting his hands on me, pulling a knife on me. He took my phone, my credit card, my laptop. Like he just took hella shit and disappeared. So I ended up at a shelter. I ended up at a homeless shelter all the way in Florida, and I had
Okay.
to get a bus ticket back home. And when I got back home, I found out I was pregnant. So that's literally how that happened. Like it wasn't it wasn't like a, how do I put it? It wasn't like we were a couple preparing for a child together. We split up before I even knew that I was pregnant. So,
Mm,
um, like an idiot, I ended up like getting back with him again just because I don't know. I think after I had my daughter, I was just in a really vulnerable space.
mm-hmm.
Um, of just not wanting to be alone, not wanting to raise my daughter without her father. Um, just being at a very vulnerable space. So when my daughter was about 3 months old, we ended up getting back together, and he this is when we got back on Bigo,
Mm-hmm.
and we met more like-minded people that wanted to continue the same journey as before.
And build.
And this time, yeah, we wanted to go ahead and build a tribe. We met, like, I think we talked about it. We met Sunflower and Boomy, and a
Yeah.
couple other people, and we
Right.
ended up linking up in Louisiana. And from
Okay.
there, we were supposed to go to Mexico. But again, he was physically violent. Mostly because at this time we moved in with this dude named Yaju Judah. Not really moved in with him, but he had land there, so we were all supposed to link up there, get to know each other, come up with a plan, and then move on to Mexico. Um, but when we got there, that's when Yaju Judah kind of broke it to everybody that he's Jesus Christ and that we're all going to be his disciples. So, mind you, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to call yourself Jesus, cool, whatever. But he really got on some, like, we're finna travel around the country and proclaim the kingdom of God and blah, blah, blah. So, at this point, everybody is like, that's not what we came here for. Like, you can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, but we're going to Mexico. Like, we're not following you around the country telling everybody that you're Jesus. So,
Right.
at that point, he kind of just told everybody, like, either y'all gonna do it or y'all gotta go. So
Right.
I'm like, all right, let's go. But my child's father wants to stay there. So at this point, this is where it becomes a physical
Problem.
issue again because I want to leave and he wants to stay and he won't let me leave with the baby. So yeah, so we are fighting. We're fighting for weeks. He ends up
Wow.
taking my phone again. Um, at
Hmm.
one point, he literally buried my phone underneath the house. Like it was, it was that serious. It was that serious. Um, but all that's in the past. Point is, I ended up getting out of that situation, and that was the last time that I've ever been anywhere near my child's father.
Okay. So you took your baby and you left. Okay. So
Hmm.
you mentioned Boomy and Sunflower. Did you and
Hmm.
Boomy and Sunflower continue to have a friendship once you met them?
Um, after I left there, I'm not gonna lie, it definitely dwindled down. I still talk to Sunflower, still send her love, hit her up every once in a while, but it's not like a, best friends talking every day type thing.
So Boomy and Sunflower, who were also a part of Carbonation, they were living with Yahweh Judah as well.
Hmm. Yeah, they were
So
actually down there about a month before we came down there.
so Boomy and Sunflower had actually joined another cult previous before Carbonation.
Yeah, but to be fair, nobody knew it was gonna be a cult. Like, we thought
Right.
we were
I
just
get that.
linking up.
I
Yeah,
totally get
yeah.
that.
Hmm.
So Nature Boy, when this in all actuality, no, the interview is not about him, but it's about him
Hmm.
because he has influenced Yahweh Judah, your baby's father, and a plethora of other people, right?
Hmm.
Who still ended up starting their own cult that mirrors carbonation. Am I getting this
Right.
correct?
Hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing that is crazy about somebody like Nature Boy. Is even though he's locked up, it's like, I mean, I don't want to say that it doesn't have an effect because obviously it's good that he's where he's at, but he's influenced so many people that it's like he literally has little clones of himself running around. Like I said, to this day, my
Right.
child's father is still actively recruiting women, still actively trying to carry on that same energy. Um, I don't know if he directly influenced Yaju Judah, but a lot of their belief systems do overlap. Um, and he definitely, he definitely falls into that type of category. Um, so it's definitely a situation where the thing about somebody who has a lot of influence is that if you can create a doctrine and you can present it to enough people and convince them to believe it, you could literally die, and that still will continue on after you. So,
Okay, now when did you meet? Now you already met Boomy and Sunflower, who also joined Carbonation. When did you
mhm.
meet Star, who was Nature Boy's one of Nature Boy's wives? When did you meet her? Thank you, Kiki.
Oh,
When did
okay.
you
So
meet
I
her?
actually met Star before them. Like, if we would have to rewind back to when I was pregnant with my daughter. Because we went
Okay,
out to
let's go back
Yaju
real quick.
Judas. Yeah, we went out to Yaju Judas when my daughter was like I said, about 3 months old. So when I was pregnant with her, um, what happened? I think so. Nature Boy had went through like one of his little phases where he was saying he was gonna be monogamous, and so he gave all his wives off. Like, he passed the wives that were there off to the other men, and apparently the women that he were talking to at the time that weren't there yet, he cut them off. And so Star was one of those women. Before she went out there the first time, she actually got cut off, and she
Right.
started talking to my child's father to become a potential sister wife. Yeah, and so that's how I met her. We actually had a really good friendship. We spent a lot of time talking to each other. She kind of had this idea in her head that she could change Nature Boy, that
Yeah.
he was
Who?
hurt.
Who? I'm sorry. Hey, T in the streets. I was trying to hold on a minute. I was trying to get you in on this, baby. You got to inbox me. I was trying to get you in on this, but we're gonna do some more because I got a greedy interview coming up. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, so let me get this right, you guys, because this is a lot to consume at one time.
Hmm.
Yes, yeah, UT in the streets. Okay, so Nature Boy let start. Nature Boy cut all his wives off and kept Velvet, right?
Hmm.
Woo,
Yeah.
y'all, this is a big ass circle. Y'all catch me. Y'all gotta please keep up with this circle because y'all know Visa was in love with Velvet, which is Nature Boy's ex-wife. Well, not ex-wife, his current wife, let's be honest. Okay. Y'all know
Hmm.
Visa fell in love with Velvet on the app. And and everybody seen that, right? So hold on a minute. We're gonna go back in time and I'm gonna bring y'all to the current moment. Hold on, buckle up your seatbelts because it's gonna be a bumpy motherfucking ride. Okay. So let's get with Star, because Star was one of Nature Boy's wives as well. Okay.
Hmm.
So you met Star while you were pregnant, and she started courting your baby's father, who
Hmm.
is a follower, not only a follower of Nature Boy, but basically he is a clone of Nature Boy.
Hmm.
So you met Star. Nature Boy cut Star loose. You guys meet Star. Your baby's father starts courting Star. So Star was going to be a potential sister wife with you, with your baby's
Hmm.
father.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do y'all hear this? Okay, so what happened with Star and why did she not become a potential why did she not become a wife with you and your baby's father? Let's get into that too.
Well, long story short, I don't know if you remember during that period when Nature Boy was like going back and forth between monogamy and polygamy. But that's pretty much what happened. Like, he said he was gonna be monogamous, and then all of a sudden he was gonna be polygamous again. And so right before he announced to everybody that he was taking all his wives back and stuff, there was actually a incident on Bigo where at this time I don't think he was really prominent on the app. Like, he was just on here. But he had came into my child's father's panel and was like directly confronting Star, like on some "what are you doing" type shit. Like, you supposed to be mine, blah blah blah, and you with this nigga, and blah blah blah, and do 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 do. And she starts like, "Oh no, Chief, like this happened. Like, I just was having dreams about you, but blah 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 blah, and you blocked me." And basically, she just started copping out. Like, the only reason why she was talking to my child's father is because he blocked her. So at that point, he had Velvet get on the mic and be like, basically, he was like, no, I didn't block you. Eliana blocked you. And so he had Velvet get on the mic and admit that she blocked her, not him. So I guess when they had that conversation, some type of switch happened in Star, and she ended up talking to him again. And so, like I said, my bad, y'all, I'm pregnant, so I just be out of breath for
It's
no
okay,
reason,
baby.
literally just talking.
Take your
But
time. Take your time.
I'm good. I'm good. I just be ain't no wrong with me. But so at this point, once they had that conversation, literally a few days later, he came out talking about he taking all his wives back again. And a couple weeks later, she was out there. So
So Nature Boy came and took Star from you guys.
that's pretty much what it is. Like, I mean, I'm gonna be all the way honest. I don't think my child's father really ever had her. Like, I feel like it was literally a situation where she got cut off. So she kind of just like went with plan B, right? So like when he came and was like, "Hey, I'm taking all my wives back," she's like, "Oh, okay." Like I said, she never really let go of the idea. Like we would have hella phone calls together, to the point where me and her used to fall asleep on the phone talking. And she had this whole thing in her head that she could change Nature Boy. Like he wasn't a bad guy. He just was traumatized. He just had, like he wasn't loved properly, this, that, and the third. So she just convinced
Excuse me.
herself that she can change him, basically. So
Okay, so she thought she can help him, which we all, when we get in bad relationships, think we can help the person that we dearly love, and we come to find out that we can't help them. Okay,
exactly.
so Nature Boy snatched Star back. You and your baby daddy, you guys end up breaking up, right?
Yeah, we go to after this point we go to Yaju Judas and then we break up for the final time.
They break up. Okay.
Oh wait, no, no,
Okay.
no, no, I'm tripping. I'm tripping. So I'm pregnant. So I had the baby and we don't
Your
get back
first
together
baby.
for a few more months. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. You had
Yeah.
your first baby. Then what happened after you had your
Mhm.
first baby?
Yeah. So after that, like this is like 3, 4 months later, me and him finally get back together, go to Yaju Judas, break up. Yeah.
Okay, you went to Yadu Judas because he wanted to stay with Yadu Judah and you didn't want to do that. So that
Hmm.
initially broke you guys up because your
Yeah.
plan was that we're going to build this self-sustaining community where we're all equal and nobody's,
Hmm.
we're all gods and goddesses and we're going to help each other. We're going to build with each other, right?
Hmm.
Gotcha. Okay, y'all, I'm telling y'all, I'm just pay attention. I know you guys might be a little confused, but I'll sum it up for you in the end because it's a lot. It is a lot. But once you realize what's going on, you're gonna be like, what the hell? Because that it took me a couple of times to realize like it's like a what the hell moment. I'm telling you. Okay, so you guys break up. Okay, so then after you break up, do you date anymore after that? Another spiritual guru or spiritual man? Do you date anymore after that, or do you
Girl,
just
no.
stay single?
Nope. So I mean, I'm definitely doing my thing. I ain't gonna lie to you, but it's not. I'm not gonna lie to you. That kind of scared me all the way from the conscious community, and I
Thank you,
went
baby.
back to just regular old men, right? And yeah, so I didn't have any more crazy ass relationships until running into Visa.
Okay. So you were having regular relationships, the goings are the goings that we go through as women. We, date somebody, we think they're for us, and then we leave them alone, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you basically gave yourself, a little bit of a break too, as well, it sounds like. Okay, so
Mhm.
then you go and you meet Visa.
Mhm.
Let's get back to where we left off from when we originally started. So you get with Visa, you meet Visa here on the Big O app, correct?
Mhm. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. All right. Not knowing nothing. So he wooed you. Sounds like he wooed you.
Mhm.
Would you agree with that? Okay, he wooed you.
Yeah.
And so
I guess I could say that. Yeah.
when you met him on the app and he started initially talking to you about being with him, you did not know, or did you know he had two other wives?
So Okay, so when I first started talking to him, it was not on any type of marriage thing at all. It was just Islam. And he was with Nakabi, but he still hadn't taken back Yusuke. And I had no idea about the Yusuke situation at all. Like when I saw her in the lives, I thought she was just a regular gifter. So I knew he had one wife, and that pretty much was it. So again, like I said, I'm new to Islam. I'm kind of learning, so I didn't even know that men could have four wives. So I didn't think he would approach me like that. You see what I'm saying?
I got you. I
Mm-hmm.
got you. Okay, so now, so you and Visa, he started courting you. Um, so then you guys had a mutual agreement that you were going to go and live with him. Now, were there
Mm-hmm.
any red flags before you made that decision?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I'm kind of dumb, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm
Don't
a
ever
little.
call
I'm.
yourself dumb. Baby, you're not dumb. You just have a big heart. Don't ever call yourself dumb. We are not dumb. We just have a big heart. And sometimes the red flags that we see, we ignore them, okay? Because we
Mm-hmm.
love and we want to love. We want to be loved. So don't call yourself dumb for that. Just because you chose love. Don't do that. We all make choices that we shouldn't have probably made. Everybody here. Nobody's feet in this life is clean. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So don't feel like that, baby. Okay. So so we're gonna get into the visa situation because everybody's really curious and want to know about that. Okay. Okay. So you meet Visa. Now he did he tell his wives about you at all? Or did he only tell Nakabi?
Yeah. So it's weird because like I said, when I came in, he was still on the fence about getting back with Yusuke. So he definitely told Nakabi. Like that's actually how he approached me was, hey, I told my wife about you, right? So he told Nakabi, but he didn't tell Yusuke until he kind of like made the decision to take her back as a wife. And so at that point, she kind of like instantly left where she was and she went back out there. And so he was
Get
with
into that tea.
mm,
Because see, nobody knows what really happened. So let me explain to you guys something, or I can have her explain it, but I'm explaining it. She's gonna reiterate. How about that? We're gonna do that.
mm,
So I started following Yusuke on the app, you guys. Okay. I was talking to Yusuke and I was telling her that I had a story with Visa as well. Okay. The first time Yusuke was with Visa, she decided to leave because she said a whole bunch of shit that I'm sure everybody knows about, right? When she was leaving, everybody was gifting her, sending her CAs, helping her and the baby leave, okay? In the process of that, I helped give her gifts, whatever I could, okay? I also told her my story of Visa and how he did me. Now, it wasn't nothing as far as a relationship or anything, but it was a business deal that he manipulated me because I didn't know nothing about Big O. But that's another story. We'll get into that another time. This don't have nothing to do with me, okay? So Yusuke had left Visa. Now, what Angel is saying, when him and Yusuke had mended whatever happened when she left. So all the money that everybody donated to Yusuke when she left the first time, she gave it to Visa. Y'all heard
yep,
what I
she
said, right?
gave it to him towards
So
his quota.
whoever helped Yusuke leave the first time, she took that money and she gave it to Visa. Everything. But she still hadn't planned on going back yet. Now, Angel, go ahead and go from there.
Yeah, so it's actually interesting that you brought that up because that was one of the red flags that you asked about. Like one of the first major red flags that I got was like I said, as I got closer to talking to him, it became kind of apparent that I was gonna be a wife, people started sending me videos and shit. So this is where I seen all of Yusuke's videos about him like headbutting her and how supposedly he was trying to sacrifice kids, like all kinds of weird stuff. So
Sacrifice
I'm
kids.
naturally
I
asking.
hear that.
Yeah, like she said that in one of the videos. So I'm asking questions. I got a daughter, so I'm asking questions. Not only am I asking him, what's this about, but I start asking her, what's this about? Because, like I said, she's heavy in his life. She's heavy in his life when I'm coming in the picture.
Hmm.
But it's weird because it's like she getting close with me, knowing that I'm about to be a wife, but
Right.
I don't know that she was a wife. So it's like I don't really realize why she getting close with me, if that makes sense. Um, so long story short, in the midst of this, he ends up deciding to take her back. And that's when we start having conversations about like, okay, okay, whatever. So I start asking her questions like, what was this about? What was that about? Like, why you make this video? Um, and she ended up like basically explaining to me that everything was a big misunderstanding and like
What?
she yeah, like she misrepresented him and blah 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 blah. And as far as like the whole money thing, I don't think that it was like an intentional scheme or anything. Like, oh, go leave and then have people send you money and give it back to me. I think it was more so, at least when I asked her, like, why